It begins as a gentle spring-fed brook, meandering southward through the Michigan countryside for 20 miles, until quite close to it, it widens into a river. The French voyageurs who called it La Rivière Rouge, the Red River, despaired of its usefulness, even as a ship anchorage, and kept their vessels in the Detroit River. But Henry Ford, who was born and grew up near the Rouge, had other ideas. To be near its shimmering waters, he and Mrs. Ford chose this river site to build Fairlane, the home in which they lived to the end of their lives. Because of the river's potential as an industrial waterway, he purchased thousands of acres of land in what is now the city of Dearborn to build the crown jewel of American industry, the Ford Rouge plant. The essence of his plan was the flow of materials, and the flow would begin in the river with a widened, deepened channel, so that Dearborn would have a waterway through the Detroit River and the Great Lakes to the sea lanes of the world. This is a unique industrial city, the only one in the world where production begins with raw iron ore and ends with completed automobiles. The Rouge covers more than 1,200 acres interlaced with miles of paved roads that carry all sorts of vehicles. 3 times a day, the Rouge undergoes an almost complete change in population. The working force numbers more than 40,000 men and women who drive to work in $50 million worth of automobiles. Has its own railroad with enough track to link Cleveland and Toledo. Its high line is perched 40 feet in the air. The Rouge also has its own medical center with a permanent staff of doctors and nurses, its own uniformed protection force, and modern fire department. Generators in the Rouge power plant can produce 100 million kilowatt hours a month, enough electric power to light all the homes in Cincinnati. More than 80 miles of conveyors are needed to feed its production lines. Shiploads of iron ore, coal, and limestone are brought from American and foreign mines. Nearly 5 million tons arrive in Ford's own vessels. The ships are unloaded by cranes into storage bins, which can hold more than 1.5 million tons. Coal contains too many impurities for direct use in the iron-making process, so it must be made into coke. Rouge coke ovens, when fully loaded, are processing 3,850 tons of coal. The fire is quenched with water to prevent further burning of the coke. Iron, man's most useful metal, is made by smelting iron ore, coke, and limestone in 3 towering blast furnaces. The raw materials are carried to the top of each blast furnace in elevator cars known as skips. Tons of air mixed with gas combine with the coke in the furnace to produce intense heat and smelt the iron. The furnace is tapped. Molten iron flows through a trough to an opening in the floor. Samples of the iron are taken to the laboratory for analysis. The molten iron pours down into torpedo-shaped vessels on rail carriages. This car is actually a mammoth thermos jug to keep the iron hot while it is being transported. 10 open hearth furnaces in the Rouge convert the molten iron into tough, versatile steel. First, a charge of scrap steel is fed into the furnace. This furnace has a capacity of 200 tons. Limestone is added. This acts as a flux and purifier and helps to remove phosphorus and carbon from the iron. Finally, molten iron from the blast furnace is added, and its conversion to steel begins. Aided by a new oxygen process, the steel is ready to be tapped in 4 hours. A charge of dynamite is installed in the tap hole. As the molten steel pours into the 185-ton ladle, bags of alloy materials are added. The impurities, which rise to the surface in the form of slag, are drained off. When the ladle is full, a giant crane moves it to the ingot molds. The new steel is poured into the molds. It is then allowed to cool and harden. After being reheated in soaking pits for 4 to 6 hours, the steel is ready for conversion into forms and sizes suitable for the making of automobiles. This ingot weighs 5 1/2 tons. The ingots begin to change shape as they pass back and forth in the blooming mill. After 17 to 25 passes, the ingots become chunky slabs like this, or long rectangular blooms like this. This slab is sheared like a stick of butter. The slab is reheated and passed through hot strip mills. tons of water cool the strip. Then it is coiled. The coils are now welded together to form a continuous strip weighing up to 30,000 pounds. The strip passes through a pickling bath of diluted sulfuric acid, which cleans the surface of the steel. After additional cold rolling, the steel is coiled and cut into sheets. The blooms, which we saw earlier, are converted into bar stock. A giant billet transfer table feeds the blooms to billet mills and merchant mills. A mighty squeezing process turns out flat bars for auto springs. How do the bodybuilders go about the task of making hundreds of thousands of door panels all exactly alike? The answer is here. The sheets are stamped on gigantic die presses, which have foundations that go all the way down to bedrock. The metal is squeezed between two matching dies, which have been shaped to the contours they now reproduce. A plaster model of a door panel must be reproduced in steel. The die makers literally carve it out of a massive casting. The white markings indicate areas where large amounts of metal must be cut away. Perhaps you've seen an artist using a pantograph. By tracing the original here, a duplicate drawing is produced here. The same principle is used by a profiling machine in the die shop. At the top of the machine, a tracing head moves slowly over the three-dimensional surface of the plaster model. And a cutting head faithfully follows the pattern to form the same contours in steel. The die produced by the profiling machine is moved to another area for grinding and hand finishing. The entire body shell is produced by die stamping more than 400 parts. Some intricate shapes are produced in a series of operations. To make a wheel housing, the stamping is trimmed and cut in half. The two sections are welded together. In the two foundries at the Rouge, one of which is the world's largest, automobile parts are made by pouring iron into sand molds. For the multiple casting of camshafts, shell molds are made of sand and resin. The mold is assembled, buried in a bed of steel shot, and filled with iron. The multiple casting emerges from the shakeout, partially covered with the mold material. Hammer blows knock off the gates and risers, leaving only the rough camshafts. They are then cleaned, after which they are inspected and straightened. The shafts are then sent to the engine plant for finishing. In the Dearborn foundry, engine blocks are produced by a complex process in which cores within molds are used to produce the intricate forms. As the block arrives in the engine plant from the foundry, The rough casting weighs 211 pounds. 46 pounds of this material must be machined away, some of it 1/1000th of an inch at a time. The precise final honing of the cylinder walls completes the metalworking operation. During the process, the block has been subjected to a series of critical inspections. An air gauge makes certain that an invisible oil line inside the block has been properly formed. The blocks now move to the engine assembly line. Cylinder bores are inspected and graded with sensitive gauges. The bearings are put into place. These are comparable to the jewels in a watch. Pistons are installed quickly and deftly as the block moves on its way. The assembled engine now goes to the hot test stand where connections are made for coolant and exhaust and for fuel. Electric power is supplied to the starter and this is the fulfillment of the efforts of thousands of workers and suppliers who have helped to bring this engine into being. Ford is the only automobile maker to produce its own glass. Silica sand, limestone, dolomite, and other ingredients are laboratory tested, measured on automatic weighing machines, mixed and fed by conveyor to the glass furnace. The 2700-degree heat melts the ingredients into a fiery lava. Samples are taken to the laboratory for inspection. The molten glass flows from the furnace between water-cooled rollers, forming a continuous solidified sheet. The newly formed glass passes through a 400-foot-long oven for controlled cooling. The 106-inch wide ribbon of glass is trimmed and cut into sheets. The rough windshield glass must now be ground and polished. The sheets of glass are mounted on a plaster base. They pass from one grinder to another, 30 in all, where moist sand is used as an abrasive to reduce the glass to the desired, more uniform thickness. The glass is transferred to the first of 50 polishers. The polishing gives the glass transparency. Revolving felt pads using a mixture of rouge and water polish the glass. The glass is turned over and the reverse side is ground and polished. The transparent plate glass is washed and inspected, and any area containing defects is quickly rejected. The glass is cut and trimmed on a template machine. Next, it must be curved. It is placed on a bending fixture. Then it is heated in an oven at nearly 1200 degrees. The glass softens to the point where it sags by its own weight into the fixture. Cooled and rehardened, it has the shape of a windshield. The curved pieces of glass go to the almost surgically clean White House, where they are to be made into laminated safety glass windshields. The pieces of glass are joined together with a tough layer of vinyl plastic in between. An oil-filled pressure cooker, known as an autoclave, subjects them to heat and pressure. This process turns the three layers into a single permanent transparent thickness of laminated safety glass. The longest assembly line in the Rouge is the one where bodies are built. The body shell begins to take form in a welding jig where side assemblies are joined to the roof. The body shell is moved to a second welding fixture where it is united with the floor or underbody. The frame, once a separate component, is an integral part of the unitized body. The welding continues in order to form a strong, quiet, friction-free structure. The welding job is finished and joints are brazed. Craftsmen fill the seams with solder, while others grind the welds and brazed joints to provide a smooth surface for the paint. The doors are installed and the deck lid is added. After a final check and smoothing of all metal surfaces, the unitized body is ready for its coat of color. The body is first coated with phosphate, followed by a double coat of prime paint and a trip through the drying oven. The primed surface is given a careful wet sanding to eliminate blemishes, and then comes the big moment in the paint spray booth. After baking for about an hour, the car emerges with a hard, high finish that will retain its beauty for years to come. The body continues down the line, receiving its weather stripping, glass, hardware, instrument cluster, and other items, followed by final inspection. Every car made at the Rouge is made to order, either for Mr. and Mrs. Customer or for the dealer's stock. The customer's choice of car, model, color, and other options is sent by teletype to final assembly in Dearborn. And the variety of choices is so great, it would be possible to produce cars all day at the Rouge without ever building two exactly alike. Final assembly begins with the front wheel suspension. The alignment must be perfect. A machine called the Octopus provides a means for quick, very accurate alignment. Meanwhile, on a nearby engine dress-up line, transmissions, fuel pumps, generators, starters, and other engine components are installed. On another line, the rear axle and springs are assembled for attachment to the body. Here come the bodies. And now, all the right parts and components, made and assembled in many locations, will arrive at just the right time for the right car, exactly as ordered by Mr. and Mrs. Customer. The completed car is given a careful visual inspection by an eagle-eyed inspector. And the miraculous moment comes when the world's newest automobile springs to life under its own power. The car is tested for headlamp and wheel alignment. The engine, transmission, instruments, brakes, and other parts of the car are given a thorough testing on the roll test machine. The operating components are performing beautifully. How about the body? The water is spraying at 100 gallons per minute, equivalent to driving at 90 miles an hour in a heavy rainstorm. But it's a sunny day in Dearborn. A brand new car, eager to go, is on the way to its new owners, built to order by the men, the women, the mills, and machines of this dynamic industrial city, the Rouge.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. I'm Skip Alsheimer. Welcome to our AV Geeks Lunchtime streaming show. I was really jamming out to that musical soundtrack. Really phenomenal, bombastic, and over the top, and hyper dramatic. And I mean, regardless of how you feel about automobiles and their impact on the environment, that's some pretty awesome footage there. There's lots to just kind of watch and just get sucked into the explosions of, things being smelted and pouring the molten liquid, steel and iron, and it's just over the top. And then you can imagine how it smelled and sound and super loud, and all for Mr. and Mrs. Customer. But it's phenomenal. There's a lot of people that are obsessed with the River Rouge plant in Dearborn. And so they reach out to me when they find out that I have 3 or 4 films about the plant. A all of them are these amazing promotional films for Ford about the immensity of this project and everything. And so I love showing it. So thanks for watching. I collect old educational films and show them to you. Been doing it for quite a while. Have over 30,000 films, maybe closer to 35,000. I don't know. I would have to sit and count them all. So these are all rough numbers. But this next film is a complete change. It is Papa Penguin's Home Movies. Enjoy.
We build our nests in the same place year after year. Can you see Mama there? I guess I should have been closer. There she is, almost at the top of the hill. Look at her waddle. Isn't that beautiful? Now we're coming to a little stream we have to cross. You know, penguins don't fly. So there's just one thing we can do if we don't want to get our feet wet. Oh, there's me. Yup. Mama got this shot of me while I wasn't looking. I guess I was kind of lost at the time. You know what this is? The beginning of an argument. Heating up a little. Hot. The problem is space. Everybody needs room for a nest. But there just isn't much room to go around. Oh, here I come with a beak full of mud and grass. Yuck! I took a lot of nest building shots. The fellas collect the grass and the mud, and the ladies shape the nest just right. Oh, wait till you see this great shot I took. See that fellow? Watch him, the sneak. That's not his nest, but look what he's doing. He's stealing stuff from it for his own nest. A little while after I took this shot, Mama laid 2 eggs. And here I am, sitting on them. We take turns, you know. It's about 6 weeks later now. And look at that. Ever see such a cute little beak? Ta-da! The babies. Just look at them. It's just a few days later now. They're sure good eaters. Mama and I feed the chicks with shrimp that we catch out in the ocean. The little fellers can't get their own food yet. Look how big they've gotten in just a few weeks. Here's the party we gave for our chicks when they were 6 weeks old. They've got a nice, quiet bunch of friends, haven't they? Here we come with lunch. Shrimps from the ocean. And here comes Mr. Appetite. Mama's calling. Shrimps on! He got the message. Talk about hungry kids. Some kids understand when Mama or Papa tells them there isn't any more. Some kids don't. Some kids have to be talked to firmly before they understand. Spare the beak and spoil the chick, I always say. Some lucky parents can leave the island. Their kids are all grown up. But most of us still have to teach our chicks how to swim and catch food, like we do. But we don't mind. We love them. Hey, this is the last scene. Sure went fast. Well, let me stop things right here. If you remember that we're Gentoo penguins, I'd appreciate that very much. Sure hope you like my movies. Drop in anytime.
Sorry about the sound issue. There's this software I use. Sometimes I get a little clicky and click the wrong thing. So sorry about that. I hope that did not diminish your appreciation of this film. It's clear that they had some penguin footage and they were trying to come up with a novel way to make it interesting. You could argue that this failed miserably or it was a rousing success. And I think I have another film in this series with Papa Penguin. I think there's a wedding. I don't know if that's the same thing or not. It's kind of strange. Anyways, you learn something about penguins. There you go. Now let's learn about something that's a little bit closer to us genetically. of which is it family? I don't know if it's family. I can't remember my taxonomy of levels, but it's about primates. There's going to be some regrettable chimp footage in here.
In natural history, all human beings are classified as belonging to the order of mammals. The primates, which include apes and monkeys, also belong to this order and are the highest type of mammal with the exception of man. Here is the gorilla, which belongs to the family of anthropoid apes. The gorilla, which lives in West Africa, is the largest of these apes, growing to a height of about 6 feet and weighing nearly 500 pounds. Though feared more by the natives than any of his forest companions, the gorilla is normally of a gentle disposition unless aroused. This 4-year-old has made friends with a pet terrier. The chimpanzee, a smaller variety of ape, also comes from Africa. This beast is found in a more extensive area than the gorilla and is about 1/3 smaller. In facial structure, the chimpanzee resembles man more than the gorilla does. Both apes have blackish hair, but the chimpanzee has shorter arms and longer, slenderer hands and feet. The chimpanzee is capable of accepting, refusing, and thanking with 3 different and distinct sounds. Here is a chimpanzee that has been trained to skate. The intelligence of a chimpanzee is compared to that of a small child and is far higher than any other non-human. Here he shows rather unusual ability in sewing. The chimpanzee picks up bad habits too, but he seems to enjoy it. Notice how he respects the match. The chimpanzee also can be trained to entertain. He does such things as remove his own shoes about as well as you did when you were 3. The third kind of ape is the orangutan, which means man of the woods. Clad in brownish hair, it is found in Sumatra and Borneo. The orang travels in families and lives on leaves, buds, and fruits. It has a flattened oval face and a skull that almost comes to a point. Excessively long hands and feet are assets for climbing, in which this type of ape excels. You may notice that the thumb is undeveloped. The orang shows poor dexterity in handling this piece of wood. Here are the chimpanzee and orang together. The orang has longer arms and shorter legs. Compared to the gorilla, the orangutan is a much smaller beast. But an orang is much more playful and friendly. Just imagine the keeper doing this to a gorilla, but the orang seems to enjoy it immensely. Like a child, the orang enjoys playing in the sand. Notice he uses hands and feet interchangeably. Whoopee! Here, he arrays himself in a scarf. He has not been taught to do this, or this either. And here we see him, without previous assistance, learning the principle of the lever. He seems to exercise almost human intelligence. Now, we wouldn't exactly say he can read, but the pictures evidently are interesting. See how he uses his mouth to aid in turning the pages. Here, he's getting his vitamins. Whoops all over him. So he wipes his face just as your baby brother does. The fourth kind of ape, the gibbon, comes from the Malay Peninsula. Small and light with extremely long arms, it is the only ape accustomed to walking upright. Although the gibbon bears most resemblance to man, it is the lowest type of ape. It has a delicate constitution. However, when caught young, it can be tamed easily. It is far more nimble than the larger apes. This ape is the closest connection to its cousins in the New World, the monkeys. So we have seen the four major types of anthropoid apes that inhabit the Old World: the gorilla, the chimpanzee, the orangutan, and the gibbon. Now, let us see how they resemble their New World relatives. The New World or American monkey often is distinguished by its tail, which serves as an other arm and is therefore called prehensile. This is a spider monkey. Besides having a prehensile tail, it can also be recognized by its lack of thumbs. The spider monkey is so called because of its spider-like limbs. The woolly monkey, cousin to the spider monkey, inhabits the Guianas. It is heavier than its cousin, so the natives call it barrigudo, which means big-bellied. Gentle and confiding in nature, the woolly monkey makes a good pet. The monkey lives mainly on fruits. It, in turn, is also considered good eating by the natives. It spends most of its life in the treetops, rarely descending to the ground. It is noted for grave manners, and it is extremely mild in temperament. We have seen a few examples of anthropoid apes and New World monkeys, which are included in the order of primates. These animals, all inhabitants of primeval jungle areas, are a source of never-ending interest because of their close resemblance to the human being.
Too many windows open. Too many windows. Where's what I saw? Someone had left their cell phone somewhere, and monkeys had taken selfies on it. I don't know how legitimate that story is. It was definitely something I read in the headlines, but yeah. All right, this next film is on film, and this is, let me change the name as I'm talking to you, Boy and the North Wind, and this is what we call puppet animation. So it's not actual puppets with strings, but it's little puppets that have little metal armatures in them. This is what we would call the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer style of animation. So it's stop motion with these little tiny puppets. And it's probably of some sort of European origin or Japanese origin. Also, I should say thanks so much for coffee, Susan. Thank you for that. buying this coffee is a way that you can support AV Geeks, because caffeine is what keeps us alive. It's not food, it's not oxygen, it's actually caffeine straight to our brains. So here's Boy in the North Wind. Enjoy.
Wind! Oh, this is terrible! I'll visit the North Wind and hear what he has to say. Blow my flower away, Willie. Huh? The castle of the North Wind? Mr. North Wind!
Dear me, you have traveled a long distance. Is there something I can do for you?
You blew away all the flour I had. Since I couldn't take the flour to my mother, she can't bake our bread. So you see, we need it. Please return the flour to me.
Oh, I see. I'm very sorry to hear it. Well, I'll make you a gift of this tablecloth. If you open it and say, turn out fine dishes, then anything you want to eat will appear.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you so much, Mr. North Wind.
You're welcome. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Mr. North Wind. It's getting dark. I think I'd better put up at this inn tonight.
Well, good evening, boy. Do you plan to stay? Money is first. What do you want to eat?
Oh, I don't need dinner.
No dinner?
This room. May I stay in here for the night?
Yes. That room is yours.
Thanks. Good night. Now for something to eat.
Something to eat?
I'm very hungry. Tablecloth, turn out fine dishes.
Oh!
This is wonderful!
It's a great surprise. That's a wonderful tablecloth. If I had the tablecloth... Food so good to eat. What a treat. It can't be beat. Food so good to eat. All from a simple tablecloth. It's too good for that boy to keep. I must have it. I badly need it. Well, I'll get it. Quietly now.
Ooh. Wait until Mother sees that tablecloth. Good morning, innkeeper.
Good fine dishes, boy. Ooh, fine dishes. I mean, it's a fine day.
Bye-bye.
He doesn't know anything. Yeah.
Mother, look what I have. A wonderful tablecloth. Now watch. Turn out fine dishes. Turn out fine dishes.
Oh, Hans, you can't expect a tablecloth to give you anything.
That's strange. It worked last night. I wonder if Mr. Northwind tricked me. I must go and hear his reason. Mr. Northwind!
Oh, it's you. Did I blow off the flour again?
No, that's not it. When I got home, that tablecloth didn't work.
Oh, is that right? Very well then. I'll give you this sheep. If you say turn out money, he will produce gold coins from his mouth.
You mean the sheep is so wonderful? Ready? Turn out money. Oh! It's wonderful. It's really very wonderful. Oh, Mr. Northwind, thank you so much. We'll have to stay at the inn tonight.
Turn out fine dishes. Turn out fine dishes. Oh! Hello, boy.
Good evening. I'll spend another night here.
But money is first, you know.
Oh, don't worry about that. Ready? Turn out money.
Oh! Oh, a real coin. Well, I'm surprised. Did I say surprised? I'm astonished. Oh, if I had that sheep. Money all for me. Oh, how greedy I can be. Money all for me. Ha ha ha. All from the mouth of a sheep. I must go and take it while he's asleep. Ha 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 ha. Now for you. I hope you slept well.
Yes. Oh, yes. I hope to visit you again. Bye.
Come back soon.
You're a wonderful sheep. Wait until Mother sees you give gold coins. See? That's our house. Mother, look what I have. Now, sheep, are you ready? Turn out money. Turn out money, please.
Oh, Hans. First a tablecloth and now a sheep that gives money.
Now, this is strange. The sheep gave me money only once. I'll see what I do now. Mr. North Wind! Mr. North Wind!
Oh, dear me. Now what is it, huh?
You are tricky, Mr. North Wind, because you fooled me 2 times. Your shame should make you blush.
Well, how strange it is. What should I give you now? Ah, yes. This is a stick of punishment. This stick will be useful because you are being cheated by someone.
I am being cheated by someone? I wonder what's this all about? I don't understand.
I wonder what that boy has this time. Hello, you fine boy.
Innkeeper, will you let me stay here tonight, just this one time?
Yes, yes, very well. Now, a stick. Yeah, I'll take it too, a stick. What will the stick give me? I wonder. Which one looks most like his? Ah, good. Now to change sticks. Ow, my head! Oh! Stop it! Stop it!
Ah!
Oh, that hurts! Oh, no! Ow! Oh, no!
Oh!
Please, please stop! I'll return the tablecloth and the sheep! Oh!
I think you'd better get the tablecloth and sheep you stole from me.
I'm going, I'll get it!
I'm on my way home now, as happy as can be. Sheep, stick, tablecloth, and me. Oh, Mr. North Wind, fill my life full of glee. We'll have food on the table, money to spend. Should I ever steal or even be misled, I think the stick will hit my head. Old Mr. North Wind took real good care of me. Oh, so fine were the gifts of Mr. North Wind.
So that was Japanese. Gakken. What a crazy, crazy film. But there's a lot of films like that with this some kid who like discovers some magical thing and then somebody tries to trick him out of it and they succeed, but then there's some sort of comeuppance. It's a trope. I don't know. Reminds me a little bit of Jack Tales, which were these stories, Appalachian stories that were told that our teacher would read us about Jack, who would interact with witches and trolls and magical things, and he would get tricked first, but then was smart and figured it out, and really some great stuff. So Jack Tales. All right, So this next film is something that I don't even know if they show this type of thing in schools anymore. And this is it's this kind of an, excuse me, advertising literacy, which basically teaches kids to be very critical of advertising that is pointed towards them. I think it's super important. And I just don't even know if that's something that happens nowadays, because there is so much advertising towards kids, even though it's trying to be regulated by YouTube and whatever. It's everywhere, completely advertising, and teaching kids skills to look through, to look through these ads and to kind of say like, wait a minute, that doesn't quite seem right. I feel like I was I was sucked into a lot of advertising, but my parents got Consumer Reports at some point, and I started reading that and started looking at the ads. Also, Mad Magazine had so many ad parodies that it made it very aware that advertising was fake, and would say these outlandish things to try to sway people into buying. So I contribute those two facts. Consumer Reports and Mad Magazine, rest in peace, for giving me that kind of like critical eye of like, wait a minute, I can't even watch ads now on television. I digitized so many ads for Duke University's ads archive, and now we're doing some for Indiana University's Clio collection, and those I can look back on because they are from the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. And they're quaint and nostalgic, but I still, my hackles are raised like about that. And so at some point I might do a whole thing. We'll just watch ads and talk about them, because I have a bunch of ads. All right. So anyways, this is Seen Through Commercials. Enjoy.
And now, a word from our sponsor.
For the 7 seas in search of a bountiful carve of pirate pop cereal. Here. Pirate Pops are part of my nutritious breakfast every morning. 4 tasty tropical fruit flavors. Yum.
Cut! Come on, Fred. You gotta smile when you eat that stuff. 4 tasty fruit flavors.
4 flavors of cardboard.
We're paid to sell it, not to like it. Now, this one calls for a lot of imagination.
Lunch break. Everybody back in 30 minutes.
Okay, we'll try it again after lunch. Here. Practice before they get too soggy.
Imagination. You're not kidding. That's what a commercial is. Imagination. I'm not a pirate. I'm an actor. Arr. And my job is to get you to buy Pirate Pop cereal. That takes real imagination. And a lot of pretending, too. People who make commercials are experts at pretending. Making things seem different than they actually are. Like this leg. Usually they make things seem bigger and better. Have you ever bought something that you've seen in a commercial, taken it home, and then found out it wasn't really as great as it seemed on TV? Well, that can be very disappointing. Come with me and I'm going to show you how they did it.
How
many times have you seen a commercial that just made a toy or a food just look like fun?
Good things happen when you start snacking on a lip smacker candy bar. It's so much fun when your tummy goes yum with a lip smacker candy bar. Let your lips smack. Let your lips smack. Yes, good things happen when you start snacking on a lip smacker candy bar.
That was fun. Just like the cartoon show you might see with it. But more than entertain you, they wanted to sell you a candy bar. And they can make eating almost anything seem like fun. You see, it's the way they filmed it that made it look like fun. They could be eating almost anything. Candy bars, celery, sweat socks, old tennis shoes. Let's get back to the candy bar. How big do you think it really is? How big was it? I bet you thought it was bigger. On a commercial, things can look bigger if we shoot them from close up and don't show anything to compare them to. Like my hand. You know about how big my hand is, so if my hand was in the picture, you could tell about how big the bar was. Even if someone's hand is in the picture, if the candy bar is held real close to the camera, it will still look bigger. Those size tricks can work with toys too. Watch. The girl and the doll look about the same size, but when the camera shows the whole picture, we can see that the doll only looked bigger because she was closer to the camera. Television commercials play tricks with a lot of things other than size.
You can break every record with Speed Demon Dragster.
Wow, look at it go! Far out!
Speed Demon Dragster at your favorite store.
Okay, what tricks did you see in that one? One thing we know already. Close-up shots to make the car look bigger. Well, let's see what it looks like without any special effects. Watch what they can do to make the car look more exciting. First, get closer. Next, add sound effects. Add some excited spectators.
Wow, look at it go! Far out!
Now, put together several different shots of that same car.
Wow, look at it go! Far out!
If you bought it for all that excitement, and then, when you got it home, wouldn't you be disappointed and mad? Let's see what special effects can do for another kind of toy. Here's Little Miss Beauty Pageant, a pretty doll. But let me show you what can be done to make her look even prettier. First, put up a set around her. Next, as we've done before, get the camera real close. Now, throw on some dramatic lighting. Now, put special filters on the camera to make her look prettier and the lights more dazzling. Add some sound effects and music. Now move her down the ramp and make sure you hardly see the little hand that moves it. That made quite a difference. Let me show you one more thing. Here's the end of the real Miss Beauty pageant commercial.
Little Miss Beauty pageant and all her accessories are sold separately.
Watch out for that last part. Often things about the toy are said very quickly at the end of the commercial or flashed in small print on the picture. All sold separately means that if you want to have Miss Beauty pageant and all of her costumes, you have to buy them all by themselves, and that can total up to a lot of money. You see, they can be so tricky. You have to watch carefully, you have to listen carefully. You have to think about what the words mean, especially on food commercials.
Start your day with a healthy breakfast. Sugar Fruit Giggles, a bowl full of energy with milk to make you strong.
It makes me giggle.
An important part of a nutritious breakfast. In specially marked boxes, get your free Giggle Mustache. Sugar Fruit Giggles, the fun part of breakfast.
This makes me laugh.
I know from my own experience that eating cereal isn't that much fun. Let's go back and think about what they said.
Sugar Fruit Giggles, a bowl full of energy.
The energy he's talking about comes from sugar. A lot of cereals are made mostly of sugar, and we all know that's no substitute for the other good things we should eat.
With milk to make you strong.
With milk to make you strong means the nutrition is coming from the milk, not the cereal. You might as well drink the milk and forget the cereal.
An important part of a nutritious breakfast.
Do you see the oranges, eggs, and bacon in the background? What he is saying is that cereal alone is not a nutritious breakfast. You should eat some of these other things with it.
In specially marked boxes, get your free Giggle Mustache.
You know why they put that in there. One more thing.
Sugar Fruit Giggles, the fun part of breakfast.
Just like at the end of Miss Beauty pageant, you've got to read the small print at the bottom. Artificial fruit flavors.
Everybody back on the set.
Well, it's time for me to get back to pretending. Before I go, I'm going to put another commercial on. Remember, we found out that commercials make things look like fun, make things look larger than they actually are, and make things seem more exciting. And sometimes they say things you really have to think about to understand. So you talk about this one after it's over, and let's see what you can find.
All right, mates. Yeah, my crew is waiting for me out there, and if I don't eat my cereal, they're gonna make me walk the plank. Come to think of it, that sounds a lot better than eating my cereal. Now you watch this. Yeah. My name is Pirate Pete, and I'm such a nice guy.
With Jim and Judy's river raft set, you are ready for an adventure in nature's wonderland.
But be careful. The water may be rough.
Jojo fell in.
You can help Jim and Judy save the day.
Jim and Judy's river raft trip includes raft, backpacks, ropes, and Jojo the dog. Jim and Judy and their Jeep sold separately. The river not included.
Barry Maguire wrote the music. Barry Maguire, Eve of Destruction, Barry Maguire. I'm not sure. Barry Maguire? Alright. There we go. Took care of that. Thanks everybody for tuning in this week and today. If you like what you saw, you can certainly buy us coffee. You can like us or subscribe to whatever service you're watching to know about when we're showing stuff again. It will be this upcoming... Well, okay, here's the thing. I might not be here Monday due to a family obligation, but I will record something for you to watch. So either I'll be here live or I will be faking it. And yeah, so there you go. But it'll be great and entertaining nonetheless. But thanks for tuning in. I did want to, we just saw a thing about commercials, so I feel compelled to show you something about commercials. So let's watch some more TV trailers. And these are advertisements for films that were shown on television. So they're 30 minutes to a minute long. Here we go, TV trailers.
She doesn't want to believe it. All of the congregation was amazed at your power. She doesn't want to remember it.
Please, Papa, forget him.
She doesn't want to use it.
It was wrong. You know it was wrong.
But they just won't leave her alone. And now they've made her mad. Jennifer, rated PG.
Meet Randy Rawlings, the new basketball coach at Granger High.
Woman coach? They'll laugh us out of the league.
She's completely into her work, and she's not going to stop until she turns a bunch of losers into a team of champions.
Coach!
Winning is the greatest turn-on of all. For the coach, rated PG.
Well, boys, I see Mr. Coach.
He hasn't come out yet.
Well, yes, he has. Except he's a she.
A woman coach? They'll laugh us out of the league.
Randy Rawlings is going to prove a woman coach can turn a bunch of losers into a team of champions. Kathy Lee Crosby, Michael Bean, Keenan Wynn. In Coach, rated PG.
At Boston Memorial Hospital, only one doctor can save your life. But first, she's got to save her own.
This is real, Mark. Somebody is putting people into comas.
Somebody's seen too much. somebody's gone too far. Somebody's getting away with murder. Coma, rated PG. This is a warning. At Boston Memorial Hospital, your body is worth more than your life.
It's a 31-year-old male. The bidding now stands at $42,500.
And about a dozen of these coma cases here in the last year. Hard to imagine it's murder.
Are you sure?
Now, the #1 best-selling mystery becomes the most thrilling suspense film of the year. Coma, rated PG.
The story of a lifetime. Brooke Shields is Wanda Nevada. Peter Fonda is the man she rides with.
I'll jump before I let a rat like you cuddle up next to me.
Together, they blow the whole Southwest wide open.
I'm Wanda Nevada, and I ain't afraid of nothing.
Wanda Nevada, the youngest legend that ever lived. Rated PG.
It's tough to breathe if you're just a head in a paper bag. It's hard to creep without a body. And look what's happening to her as she walks up the staircase. See the little metal man with his great big knife. The doctor makes his last house call. House of Crazy. See what the author of Psycho has written now.
Incoming freshman 30 TV. Co-eds who turn the campus upside down. Incoming freshmen, ready and eager to learn something that's definitely extracurricular.
I hate to get bogged in with classes when all those new guys are running around.
Incoming freshmen, it's not what you know, but how you make the grade.
When a girl goes off to college, things just sort of change.
Incoming freshmen, rated R.
I was looking up incoming freshmen to see who put it out. I was looking up incoming freshmen. Oh, sorry, I keep forgetting to turn off that. Anyways, it's one of those weird little films you're like, oh, that's kind of an Animal House versus and Porky's and Hot ripoff. There were a bunch of those. Holy cow! All the hijinks on campus. Yeah. Well, thanks everybody again for tuning in. And if you like what you saw, again, you can contribute. You can go to avgeeks.com. You can share. Hope everybody has a good weekend. And I might see you on Monday or I might not. I don't know what happens. I'm either supposed to go on Monday or Tuesday to do this family thing. So I'll have something in place. Either way, you'll have something that you can watch, and it'll be great. So everybody have a good weekend, good Friday, and I will see you soon. Please rewind and love each other, and we will see you soon. Take care, everybody.